Frank Giavella for the contending. Songwriter Diane Warren has had an astonishing career to date, and nothing's going to stop her now. Speaking only of her film work, she's been nominated for 15 Academy Awards, the last seven in a row, was awarded an honorary Oscar 2 years ago. She's won two Golden Globes and may very well be up for another Oscar this year for the powerful track from Tyler Perry's The Six Triple Eight, titled The Journey. Diane is also the subject of a new documentary, Diane Warren Relentless. I'm pleased to have her here today. Hello, Diane.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm just having my coffee, just getting ready to start the day.
Nice.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm waiting to have my coffee.
Oh God, you wanted me to hold while you're getting
Oh,
your.
no, no, it's okay. Thank you. So, Diane, I want to say you're in grand company because, one of our greatest actors, Peter O'Toole, honorary Oscar, never won a competitive one and was nominated 8 times.
Well, I've got him beat a little bit.
You do. You do.
Let's see, I got 7 more times. I'm not very good at math. Is that right? Seven.
That is right. Yeah. And I absolutely love the joy you show towards the Oscars and being nominated. And I want to talk about that a little bit later. But for now, let's start with the Six Triple Eight because I was really, really moved by the film and where the track appears in the film specifically. It's at a very powerful moment in the film. I wanted you to, before we talk about the genesis of how you became involved, I want to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, when I write a song for a movie, I have no idea where they're going to put it or how they're going to use it. But I can't think of a song of mine that was used more powerfully, than the way where they put that, because you see the real women of the Six Triple Eight, and then you see the names of all the women, and it's just it just kind of just everybody tells me it like just makes them kind of sob. And actually, when I first saw the song used that way, it really made me cry too. It's so powerful. When you put the right song in the right moment in a movie, it elevates everything.
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah. And it added to so much, and it's it's a terrific song too.
Thank you. Yeah, and the thing is that the song has to stand on its own as a good song too. And I think this one, because the song came out a bit before the movie, and people really loved the song. And I was like, wait till you see, wait till you hear it in the movie. Wait till you see it in the movie, and then it's going to be a whole other thing too. And that's what it turned out to be.
Well, tell me a bit about getting involved because I heard that you were, well, to use the word from your documentary, a bit relentless when it came to pursuing Tyler Perry.
Well, yeah, I'm always relentless. Well, the way this came to be is my friend Carrie Seelig. I ran into her. She's been a friend of mine, for like 15, 20 years at this point. I can't remember how long, but a long time. And I ran into her, and she told me about this movie that she was producing. She's a producer on the Six Triple Eight, and she showed me the sizzle reel and that she put together. And then she started walking me through scene by scene of the movie. And I'm like, oh my God, this story, like, why has no one ever told the story before? And I was so moved by what she told me. And I literally, went the next day and started playing those chords, and that chorus just came. That was like me singing that chorus. That doesn't happen usually like that. And I've never written a song, for a movie, that way with someone literally walking scene by scene. It's usually I read a script, or I see the movie, like a rough cut or something. And this was totally different. And yeah, that's how I got involved. And Tyler, it's so funny because when I wrote the song, like I guess he was still shooting the movie, and Carrie kept saying, Diane has this great song. He kept saying, leave me alone, leave me alone. I don't want to know I'm shooting the movie. And then I'd text him, and, I wouldn't hear back. And, and finally he did hear it. And when he heard it, he was really blown away because he heard the version with her, which is a phenomenal fucking performance,
It is. Well, tell me about bringing Gabby, on board.
Well, I first met Gabby when she was 15. Like she's like 26 now. I think she's 26. And I remember meeting her and just being blown away by how great she was. I mean, she just was a great artist at 15. And she reached out to me kind of randomly. Like, I don't think anything's really random. You know, I think everything kind of does happen because it's supposed to. Or so she DM'd me on Instagram, said, I think it's time for us to work together. I had just written The Journey. Like literally, I had written it. And I'm like, you got to come to my studio. Like, let's meet up, you know? And, you know, I played her the song. And she was really, really moved. I sat at the piano and sang it to her. She goes, I want to do this today. I'm like, today? Wow. So she literally played the piano, played the guitar, and sang that vocal, which is, to me, you know, and I've worked with everybody. Honestly, I've worked with, you know, the best singers in the world. And what she did on that song, that date, you know, what she does on that record stands up there with the best of Whitney or anybody. And anyway, so she, you know, she came in like around noon, and at 4 o'clock or whenever we were done, that was all done. Like from her never hearing the song to recording it, you know, and then she went back to New York, of course, and she arranged the strings and produced the record. You know, she produced a beautiful record too. But what we talked about was, wow, this is our journeys coming together, because we hadn't seen each other in a long time. So many levels to this song, and to, you know, how all this, you know, kind of happened, you know, and just so meant to be, you know, it was meant to be Gabby singing the song, you know, like I can't imagine really anybody else singing it, you know, and she's authentic. And when I, you know, when I work with an artist, I'm a casting director, you know, so that artist has to be authentic to the movie, right? Not only the song, but to the movie. And, you know, Gabby, you know, look at what, you know, she's like the women in that movie. She just made something of herself, you know, through all the odds, you know. So, and I guess I have too. So it's all of us, you know, like, you know, we create ourselves, right, by hard work and belief, and basically like those women in the 688, you know, they just, nothing deterred them, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an astonishing story. And
Yeah.
what I'm curious, you because you've worked with all the greats. You write a song and you sing it for the artist. Do you then give it over to them? Because I think people like Celine Dion or Barbra Streisand, you've written 2 songs for.
Yeah.
Do you then let them work their magic, or do you come in and say, hey, here's what I want?
Well, it's, if I'm in the studio, you know, I'll, so, you know, it's, okay, here's how I look at it. It's my song, but it's their record. So there has to be a point of me letting it go. And if someone, you know, I'm really meticulous about my melodies, you know, and lyrics, everything's really meticulous. So, you know, so sometimes it's better if I'm not in the studio, because I'm going, oh, you know, that note right there. And sometimes you just have to like walk away, you know, and let an artist, you know, make it theirs. And they might change a couple of things, and just to it's like trying something on. You might need to put this up a little bit, or, you know, but like with this song, I didn't have to do anything. I just sat there and and watched brilliance happen, and just was like sitting back like, whoa, what am I hearing? You know, especially when she hits that note at the end. I mean, it's just crazy, you know?
Yeah. There's some beautiful lyrics in this song too. I like prove them all wrong. I just
Yeah.
love.
Story of my life.
I also love it's the fire that they can't put out inside.
I know.
That's
Yeah,
also the story of your life, right?
that is the story of my life too. I love my favorite line in the song is, when you're going with your heart, you can go farther than you ever thought possible.
Wow.
You know, which I believe is true.
Yeah, I think so too, actually. I think we should live by that.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask also about, has there been an artist where you thought, uh-oh, you know, I'm sure this artist is like going to be the most egotistical person in the world, and then they've completely shocked you by being so down to earth?
You know, what I found is that the more talented and more success, they're usually nicer.
Hmm.
Not weird. Like you would think, sometimes it's people that have had like one hit or something. They come in with a bodyguard and all of that. I'm like, you don't need a bodyguard yet. But everybody's pretty cool with me, to be honest. Like when we're, in a room, it's not about ego. It's about making the song and the record as great as possible. Or I don't have an ego about it, you know.
That
So yeah.
that's pretty rare too.
What that I would I mean,
The
I don't,
song,
because it's about the song. It's about making something great, you
yeah.
know. So if it's your idea or my idea, if you're gonna take that, like if I give you a song, you're gonna change a little something, and melodically, maybe as a singer, you want to lift it a little bit, and fine, I'm good with it. As long as it makes the song better and makes the record better. We're in it together,
Yeah. Well, you mentioned something earlier that, I wanted to bring up, which is that so many of your songs, if not maybe all of them, they complement and I'm talking about your film work mostly, they complement the film and they tell like a story there, but they also act as standalones. Like,
Yeah.
the journey is about our journey. I mean, anybody could relate to it. Do you go in with that specifically? And has there been a time, like, do you feel like there's a song for a film that you can't remove from the film?
Because most of the time, like if I go back and like when I wrote "Till It Happens to You," right, that the
Mm,
song Gaga sang, um, I didn't say what it was. So that song lives outside of the movie because it's whatever you go through. People say, "Oh yeah, you'll be fine." You're like, "No, fuck that shit." Like you don't know what I'm going through. How dare you say, that? You don't know till it happens to you. You don't know if so. Like when I wrote "Stand Up for Something," I never say what something is. It all
yeah,
means nothing. Stand up for something. With the journey, we're all on our journey. So this song isn't just the soundtrack for the 688. It could be the soundtrack for your life because we all have to. We're all on a journey. Not all our journeys are easy, but somehow we get through it. So, but to answer your question, I think they mostly do stand outside of the movie. But
yeah,
first of all, when I write them, they have to work in the movie.
yeah. There's a gift to that though. That can't be easy to do. Um, I before we talk about the Oscars, I want to mention that it's like you've written. I was just looking over the list, quite a number, what I like to call coming out gay anthems,
Oh, I love that.
because
I love that.
yes, yes, you have, because I came out in the 90s, mid 90s, when I was in grad school, and things like Unbreak My Heart and I'll Be Your Shelter and Love Will Lead You Back and If You Could Turn Back Time and just like Jesse James, these were the songs that were playing in the clubs. And
Love that. And that was my idea to do "Unbreak My Heart" as a dance record. I remember Clive Davis when I suggested it. Like because I remember thinking because it's a beautiful ballad. But I said that'd be like a Donna Summer record if you make it like if you make it a dance record. He goes, "No, Di, you'll ruin the copyright." I go, "No, it won't." And then it was so funny. One time I was out to dinner with Clive and his friends, right? And and one of his friends goes, I love that, I love "Unbreak My Heart." It's such a great dance record. I go, "Oh, you're not gay." So I'm glad he was.
Well, I thank you, because all those songs, have been in my head for like ever.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
The power ballads, the divas singing the power
Yeah.
ballads.
I love my diva songs. I love that. And I'm proud of that. I love that. That makes me happy.
Um, I from the documentary, just watching the documentary, it's a pretty honest portrait. And the thing that grabbed me again, as a kid growing up, throwing Oscar parties way back in high school, and just kind of really getting into it. And
Nothing
the thing,
like the Oscars. There's nothing like the Oscars.
there isn't, right? I mean,
No, nothing like it. No, not the Grammys. Sorry, Grammys.
and it's not necessarily because all your favorites win. It's because it starts a conversation about the films of the year and the music of the year, and
Yeah.
that's what's most important. Like most of the people who I think deserve to win never win.
Same here.
So that excites. So you still feel that way. Like this year, you're planning the same to
Oh
do.
yeah. come on by. The Sleepless Sleepover is on the 16th. You know, it's really weird. One of my friends last night goes, "Hey, your Sleepless Sleepovers, it's for, you're going for number 16 and it's on the 16th." Oh, that's kind of cool, you know? So
Ah,
nominations are the 17th. So I'll
yeah.
be up all night on the 16th, you know. I get so excited, you know, and you know, it's thrilling, it's exciting, and how can anybody sleep? I think everybody that says they sleep are full of shit, personally. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I was sleeping and my agent cut me off. No, fuck off. You were up all night just like me. I just have fun doing it. We have like pizza, a bunch of my friends come over, you know, and then the crazy ones stay up all night and we literally count down the hours. Like we literally, okay, it's 4. Oh no, it's 4:15. Oh no, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock. Oh no, 20 minutes. No, we just get into it, you know, and then, you know, if you're lucky enough, you know, to hear your song, you know, to be nominated, that's winning. They choose 5 songs.
Yeah.
5 songs out of hundreds of songs. So for anybody to think of that, you know, I make jokes like I'm the Susan Lucci, whatever, but you know what? It's pretty fucking cool to be nominated. It's not easy, you know.
Yeah,
And
and
so
you've had some stellar work recognized. You know, it's I want to chat a little bit about this group, but first, there are a couple songs that I think you should have been nominated for that you weren't, and I want to make that clear. One is you haven't seen The Last of Me.
yeah, that was
Uh,
like I think there was a different thing they had at the time. Like there was a point system. I can't remember what it was where you like someone would have to go to a theater to I don't know. There was like a thing that changed in the voting process that they had at the time. Which is why there was a couple of years where there was just 2 songs nominated or 3. And yeah, that
yeah.
was great. And I remember Cher was so pissed off. You know, she was like all over Twitter. I can't believe it. And, you know, but yeah, that was kind of a surprise. But, you know, it won the Golden Globe, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that was one of the surprising ones that it wasn't, you know, and it's become like a classic, you know, for Cher. It's like her My Way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like I remember thinking, "Oh, is this a way to not want Cher to perform on the Oscars?" But, you know, who
Yeah.
knows?
No, I think they would really. I think at the time James Franco and he was mad. He was hosting the Oscars, and I think he was mad because he was going to dress as Cher or something. I don't think he kind of planned that, but you know, it's cool. It won the Golden Globe. That was cool.
It did. Another one is Every Road Leads Back to You from For the Boys, which is such a beautiful song.
Thank you. That I love that song. Yeah, that was. I think it wasn't used inside them. It was more. I think it was like the third end title song or something in that movie. I was like, why didn't you use that in the movie? But it's a beautiful song. Bette Midler did that. You know, but
Yeah,
it's still a beautiful song.
absolutely. And also from 80 for Brady, Gonna Be You. I'm sorry, I know you're going to disagree with me, but Gonna Be You should have been the nominee that year.
I know it was hard I mean, can you imagine like having those divas on the stage, you
It,
know,
yeah,
um,
it would have been staggering. Dolly Parton. Yeah,
Debbie Harry, Belinda Carlisle, Gloria Estefan, that would have been a moment. It ended up being, you know, The Fire Inside, but you know, I mean, I know I wish they both could have been nominated, but you know, I wonder what the glam costs would have been there probably would have been more than the Oscars, just the glam costs for those divas.
big time, big time. So your first nomination was for Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, and then that was Starship
Yeah.
from
I've been
Mannequin.
nominated in 5 decades.
That's
Not good.
crazy.
I'm
Yeah.
only 28, you know, it's kind of,
I mean, that's pretty damn good. How old are you? Wait, 28, you said?
yeah, yeah, I'm 28 plus a lot.
Then, of course, Because You Loved Me from Up Close and Personal, which is just a beautiful song.
Thank you. You know, it's so funny. So last night I was at an event and I met the guy that was the editor on that. And he introduced himself to me. He go, yeah, I was the editor on Up Close and Personal. I go, wow, that was number 2, my second nomination. I go, by the way, I'm going for number 16. It's so crazy, but I'm proud of that song. And by the way, that's another song to give that example of that it meant something in the movie, but it became a whole other thing outside of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It became a classic too.
Big time. And had it not been for the Titanic movie, Titanic, you know, How Do I Live? Nothing was going to beat My Heart Will Go On. Let's
Oh,
face it.
nothing was. I was like, okay, you guys go get drunk, do whatever you're going to do to fellow nominees. None of us are going to, So it's kind of cool. So you don't even bother to write a speech that you're going to smush up in your pocket.
And two really good versions of that song. In like 2 sentences or less, could you clarify the insanity with Trisha Yearwood and Leanne Rimes in those two versions?
Okay, it's not too set. Well, okay. So what happened was I gave the song to they hadn't even chosen my song yet, but when I ran into Leanne Rimes, who just won Best New Artist at the Grammys, I ran into her. She was like 14. We had the same publicist actually, and I told her I'd written the song for Con Air, but they hadn't even picked it technically. But Leanne loved it. She did a demo, went back to Texas, and her I think her dad co-produced it, and they did a video, they did a whole thing. And remember, it wasn't chosen yet. But when Jerry Bruckheimer heard it, he loved the song, and then they were going to use it, but he wanted some changes made. He thought it was too country. And I said that to Leanne's dad, and he goes, I ain't making no changes for them Hollywood people. I go, no, it's just for the movie. You could put your record out, do whatever you want for the record. It's just in the scene. And, and so they wouldn't change it anyways. And Jerry got Trisha Yearwood to do it. And he goes, don't worry, you're not gonna have to pull it from Leanne. We'll have two versions. And then he goes, you have to pull it from Leanne. I go, I can't do it. So he was mad at me and so I'll never work with you again. She was mad at me. Everybody hated me. And then I worked with Jerry again. Next year I did I Don't Want to Miss a Thing for Armageddon.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's really, and then it was Trisha who did the Oscars, right?
Yeah, I think she won. I think I don't know. Trisha sang it, and then the other one won the Oscar. But it's probably my biggest hit with both versions like that, And Leanne's the only thing that kept Leanne out of #1 was "Candle in the Wind" after Princess Diana died.
Oh wow.
Version that he did, and but that song was just it became like they both had huge hits with it too. Like she had a #1 country record, and certain countries her record would be bigger. Leanne's here was bigger. I mean, it's crazy, but it's kind of cool that these songs, again, that's another song that has a life outside of the movie,
Yeah, big time. And so does the one that I know you should have won for, and I think we were all stunned, which was Till It Happens to You.
Yeah, that was I did end up winning the Emmy for that. So that was cool because at that time, if it was a documentary that was theatrical and on television, you could be up for an Emmy. Since then they've changed it. I mean, yeah, they've changed that since then. So that was the time you're winning. And that's the time that the two times I thought I was really going to win was Because You Loved Me and Until It Happens to You. And that performance that Gaga did.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's to me one of the best performances ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ever, because it was so it was with those sexual abuse survivors and that performance and the notes she was hitting and just the whole thing, right? And then the commercial break and the winner is what? And just like because I'm like, can you guys can we vote again after the performances, please? Because I think I think everybody was kind of surprised, and I think Sam Smith was pretty surprised too.
It was a stunner because you had just had the year before a Bond song win. And that had only happened once before in history, by the way. Most people think that the Bond songs from the 60s and 70s all won. They never
the really
won.
Great ones didn't win.
No, only Adele won for Skyfall. That was the first Bond song. It's kind of crazy. So the fact that
I did a Bond song once, but no one knows it's a Bond song.
You did.
If you asked me to.
Yeah.
It was in License to Kill.
Yeah, License to Kill, but it was buried, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, they didn't do anything with it. And then my friend Polly Anthony, who's no longer with us, sadly, she ran Epic Records, and Celine Dion was her artist, and she loved the song because I want this to be Celine's hit. So that's when Celine. Then the irony of this is Celine did a show in Vegas, and she does a Bond. I went to see her show, and she did a Bond medley, and if you asked me to, wasn't in it. I'm like, I said to her husband Renee at the time, and I go, Renee, if you ask me to, is a Bond song. You might want to throw that in there, so, but
But what do you think that was about, Diane? Because like I feel like maybe it was because it was a documentary that not enough Academy members saw it. Because I just feel that nothing could have beat that song.
I think it's also, you just see the title of the song and the title of the movie, right?
Mm,
So if you see Hunting Ground, no one knows what the fuck that was.
yeah,
And you see something next to James Bond, no matter the quality of whatever it is, you see, the thing is because once, the people that nominate us, as you know, are the branches, right? So
yep,
music, which by the way, are the best of the best in film music, right? Just as I'm sure the directors are the best directors, all that. So we nominate our own, right? Then once you're nominated, it's everybody. And they're not people that know music. And by the way, I don't know, what do I know about costume design? What do
yeah.
I know about some of the things I vote for, that I'm not an expert. I almost shouldn't, why am I doing that? But yeah, so once it's out in the general world, they're not going to maybe know. I mean, this year, I'm so glad because people really love the 688, and people have seen it. And it's like a globally #2 on Netflix. So everybody loves this movie. So yay, it's a movie people are seeing too. Yay.
No, I get that. Yeah, because that's a big deal. Um,
That's a
before
great movie too.
I'm sorry.
I said, and it's a great movie. It's an uplifting movie, and it's
It tells an important story that we didn't know
yeah,
about.
exactly.
Before I wrap up, I'd be remiss if my husband is a really big Heart fan, and you, I believe, wrote
Oh,
3 songs for Heart.
who will you run to?
Who will you run to? And I didn't want to need you, which I really like.
Oh, I loved I Didn't Want to Need You. Thank you for remembering that. That was a
Yeah.
great, I even like that better.
Were they fun to work with?
I didn't really work with them personally. There was Don Grierson, another, sadly no longer with us. He was their A&R person. He also worked with Tina Turner. He was a great A&R man and a great guy. And he's the one who gave them the song, who gave them both those songs. And I did another song, Cruel Nights.
Real Nights. Yeah.
God, how do I remember? I can't remember what I did yesterday. I remember that time. But yeah, no, so I met them a couple of times, but I wasn't in the studio with them or anything, but what a great singer. Again, I've worked with some great singers. Diane
Big.
Wilson.
And recently, one of my favorites of yours was EOC, and not just because I'm
Oh,
Italian.
yeah.
What a beautiful song.
Thank you. It's not that melody. That's one of my best melodies, I think. And okay, so I'll tell you a little Oscar thing with that. So that was the weird Oscars at Union Station. Remember
Yeah.
that Oscars? But so that year it was on my dad's birthday. And there was another like weird thing that happened that made me think, I think I'm gonna win. And then you know who beat me? Her.
I know.
Gabby.
I know. It's so ironic.
It's like cool, but I mean, I did, so I thought I was going to maybe win, but it's okay, and it's great that now we're together on this.
Yeah. And even that was a bit of a surprise. I think that was a very up in the air year where so many of us thought, oh, this really could be, your Oscar finally.
Yeah, it wasn't wet, but maybe this year, maybe Sweet 16.
So what if you do win? Not, and not to jinx anything, I'm knocking on all kinds of wood. Where do you go from there? Do you then just, I mean, you've written for what, over 150 films?
Yeah, probably.
Kind of fucking staggering.
Yeah, it's when I think about it, because I'm always like, what's next or what but when I think about it, it's like, wow, that's a lot. And and I'm doing more stuff now, and I'm always like hungry for what's next. So I won't sit back and go, I mean, first of all, it's kind of a long shot always for me to win. I just love being in the game. If I happen to win, that would be the coolest thing, and I won't believe it. I'll think it's the wrong envelope.
And if Faye Dunaway's there, it might be.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm going to be really scared if I win and it's Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty giving out the award.
well, Diane, I want to thank you for taking the time out to chat.
Yeah.
I think following your career and to continue to listen to these great songs that are from movies and some not from movies. It's a thrill. I only love can hurt like this. What a great
Oh,
song.
yeah.
There's
Thank
so
you.
many, it's like they pop into my head. Paloma.
Yeah, I have
Um,
another great song coming with her too. Ooh. Not a
oh
movie.
yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeah. And so you write on both sides of the pond, which is
Yeah,
fantastic too. Yeah.
yeah. I write for all kinds of people, all kinds of genres. I'm kind of everywhere. You can't get rid of me.
That's a great place to end. Thank you so much. I'm wishing you lots of well in Italy we say merda merda merda. So that is what I will be wishing you. It's basically shit shit shit, but it means
Yeah, merda means shit.
yep.
Thanks. You're wishing me shit. Thank you. You're wishing me good shit.
It's the best kind of break a leg. Let's put it that way.
Awesome. Thank you. And
Thank
great
you.
to talk to you. And I will see you.
Likewise. Take care. Yeah.